So, in short, I am an amateur. So please, any pros that want to comment or give any good advice, please do not hesitate. I am not going to lose perspective that I have no education in Adobe Photoshop, and this is done purely through hit and miss, but let me show you the way that I discovered to do it, at least what works best for me with my very limited skills. So let us begin. As you know, this is a product photo. If you notice, it was just taken with the Canon EOS 70 camera against the backdrop of cardboard. No special lighting, no special filters, just basically a close-up shot. Now keep in mind, a couple things you'll learn real fast, it's important for the photo. If this product was too far back against the cardboard, that tan from the cardboard would be absorbed into the white, and you'll see in a second, even from being far away, it still absorbs a little bit, but nothing that's really dramatic, so to say. So keep the product close to the camera lens. Do not push it against the cardboard. Second, step number one, let's crop the photo. All right, it makes it a lot easier when you go to do the selection tool, and you'll see again in a second. The temptation often is to do this. Don't. It gives it a weird one-dimensional look. What I like to do is keep the product as such. If you notice too, it's not balanced. So I like to bring the cropping tool down a little bit and not spending too much time on it since I don't want to bore you with the video. I balance the product, then raise the grid, then hit the check mark, and for at least for photo principles, when I go to post it online, it is balanced. All right, now it's a little easier. So what I do in my method is I like to take this quick selection tool here, make sure it's on plus, and I just do this. Because you know what? No matter what I do, it's going to end up doing that anyways, it seems like. Again, I'm not that good. So, then after I do that, I take this. If you notice, the Deselect Tool, and I slowly go around. I'm not picky about it. I am not going to spend a lot of time for perfection on the first run. Again, as time moves forward, there's a few little tricks that will make this not so sad. So, just doing this, da-da-da. Alright, got it. Alright, come on. Let's move it up a little faster. I don't got all day, and I'm sure neither do you. Alright. Just bring it close to the product edge. Do not go for perfection. Let the computer do most of the work for you. Alright, just bring it to an area where the computer is not going to confuse the colors. Maybe do a little bit of balancing. Double click, make sure it's on the deselect button there, or I should say add button, or whatever it is, the little plus mark. We'll just call it that. Get it kind of within range. Maybe a little bit more here. Again, I'm not a pro. Alright. So, alright. Looks choppy, scary, alright? So you look at the deselect tool here and you see this selection mask thing. And you go boom. You click on that. Alright, and you go, give it a second, you go, wait, what happened? Alright, now you notice all the imperfections. You can keep it on here if you like, but however though, I like to put it on this little thing here, if you look in view mode, on marching ants. You'll see why? Because it has the original outlay. So here is where you want to make a lot of your adjustments. Again, do not worry about being perfect. Just get it within range. You see I go over the lines, or I should say it's real easy to fix. Oops, and especially that button never seems to click right the first time. There's that. And there's that. Stay. Just one click. I'm not even outlining it. You see? Alright. Now there's a little button here. You see the smart radius. Click that. Watch this. Alright, begin to straighten out. You go, oh no, that looks lousy, and it does. But you can adjust the smart radius. It'll blank out for a second. As I'm reducing the number down, and you can go just make your final adjustments there. Like you're coloring it in. And you probably want to do it here too, because you don't want it to be too bulging out, so to say. Now, like that, because I'm an idiot. There. Still. Alright, now, here's the catch. Once you've got those adjustments down, these tools right here on the side are actually really, really cool. Let's say, for example, I take the feather. Don't worry about this right off the bat. And you can move the feather. Notice what happens as far as the lines. If you feather too much, it'll look like one giant oval. Like that. If you feather just right, your cutout, reduce it down so you can see, is going to look more real. For example, as such. Alright, you see Shift Edge. Now you can see what that does in a second. You see how it also comes in? So if you have any jagged lines on the outside of the product, the Shift Edge is great. But if you don't have a lot of jagged out lines, you don't feel like you have to cheat that much, just bring it out. A little further maybe. And then you got that. Now you hit Smart Radius. Again, it kind of like brings everything back into being. All right, you see little areas like this. That's probably not too much to worry about. There's another trick which I can show you real fast to fixing that. But see, like that looks good. See, to me personally, I don't like the oval or misshapen top. So I can't get it to be perfect like that. I could always reduce the feather down just a little bit if I don't have too many imperfections on the side, and it gives it a little bit better square look per se. Alright, let me see if I can just do one more hit right there, and then one more removal there. Hit the Smart Radius again, and let's bring it down a little smoother, maybe a little smoother, and that will give you a little bit of an idea. I'm not looking for perfection. I don't like this, but again, it's only, I want to keep this video short. Don't like that. So I'm declick the Smart Radius is not helping there. So I'll leave my own work there. Alright, now what I like to do next is as follows. You take here, this area here, you go right up here. You go for marching ants. I like to go on layers. And this will give you a good idea of what it's going to look like on your website. Now, another trick here is sometimes, for example, and just to give you an idea, all right, once you're happy with what you have here, I'm not totally happy because I got some imperfections there, but I'm happy enough for the video. I'm going to hit OK. Alright. Now, what you see here is this background copy. Now remember, you got to adjust the actual photo. So I'm going to click on this. And every once in a while, for example, just a little trick, and you get real careful about this, make sure there's plenty of buffering around that little selection brush. You can do things like this. Instead of trying to make it perfect through the cutout tool, the background tool. If I want to remove this, I could, but that's barely noticeable, so I'm going to leave that as is. Alright, now if you look at it, I'm not happy with the color. It'll be too dark for the website. So what I'm going to do is I would make sure first this is selected. I take the image, and I am going to auto tone. Then this is what works for me with white bottles. And then auto contrast. It gives me a better color. Alright, and let me do that real fast. Don't like edges. That's not helping. Alright, close enough for now. Let's see. There's that. There's that. I'm just showing you how you can make these adjustments. I don't think anybody's going to do a large blow up of your picture to find imperfections. Alright, now I'm still not happy with the color per se. So what I do next Let's go from the eraser tool. Remember, we use the selection mask. We use the eraser tool to take off any rough edges that may still exist. I take this tool here called the dodge tool. I keep it at a very low mid-tone, 22%, at least for what I'm working with, the whites. And now, what ends up happening is I just keep my hand on the mouse button. Do not take your finger off. If you do, it will like relayer another lightning layer. And I'll show you what that does in a second. And I do this. If I had any smudges or imperfections, I may go over it a few more times in the white areas to make it lighter. All right, now I'll show you what happens with the dodge tool. If you keep on using this dodge tool right here, at the exposure, but if I hit the exposure again, it will make it white, but it begins to bleed out the dimensions. And that will give you a really weird, convoluted look on your website for your product photo. So, not to panic, I edit and undo the last dodge tool. All right, now from here, all you do, you get an idea on how it's going to look. I see this background copy here. I do this. I quick export as PNG. I take a file, for example, where I may have our second generation photos. I label it and I save it as a PNG. Then if I want to, second generation photos, I take my R Omega right there, and there you have it. Again, this is not perfect, but I want to make this a short video, not a long video. But there's your product photo, perfect lighting. Is, for example, you can see a little areas right there. Now you know where I did the little eraser tool, but it depends on how much time you have to spend on doing your product. But that's it. And then I upload it to the site, whether it takes a PNG or a JPEG. And I am, where's the close on this one? I think closing this one is, is happy. And by the way, it's me over here or here. You choose. And that's you do a quick background cutout photo. I hope it helps. I went through it kind of fast, visually or audio, depending on how you learn. But again, I couldn't find anything on the sites in regard to products. So I threw it out there, and hopefully this may have a chance of helping anybody. And any pros or instructors, you want to forward links to your sites as far as how to do this properly, you're more than welcome. I'm really humble when it comes to this. But in the meantime, this is the way I learned through hard knocks in a totally uneducated hit and miss way. Catch you guys in a bit. Ralph Turchiano. See you all later. Bye.